Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Venice, known as UCOV. My name is Steve Simon, and I'm the worship associate for this morning's service. At UCOV, we try to center love and welcome, and to journey together in ways that affirm and support one another. You are welcome, no matter who you are, as long as you are willing to join in this community of support and caring. We are so pleased that you've chosen to be here with us. Reverend Molly Hausch-Gordon writes, "Mysterious source of love, moving within and between and among us, upholding and connecting all, the living, the dead, and the generations yet to come. We give thanks for the web of creation, strands interwoven, and for the gifts of love, which can never be ungiven or unraveled." That sums us up better than almost anything can. We are here and held together by gifts of love. If anyone is here for the first time and feels comfortable doing so, please stand up and someone will bring you a microphone so that you can tell us who you are.
Hello, my name is David. I live in Englewood, and I come to UCOV occasionally until recently. I belong to the first UU church in Houston, where I lived for 25 years, and then I belong to the first UU church in New Orleans, where I lived for 15 years. I have been coming, as I say, I have been coming just occasionally to UCOV, but in the last year, I've been coming more often, and I've been so put down by the direction that our Supreme Court has taken, and the political climate, that I wanted to really be a part of this congregation. I really feel the need to be a part of this progressive movement. Thank you.
David, I just want to say welcome, and as long as you're here, I want to add, laissez bon temps rouler.
Yeah.
Thank you, David. Good to have you.
Hello. Good morning, everybody. My name is Ricky. I'm here with my wife, Marlene. We are the Eileen fathers. So, so now I'm happy because I see every day my daughter more happy every day. So I think she's in the right place for her. It's because I appreciate that. So she's my.
I'm happy to stay here.
So thank you very much for stay here. No more.
My name is Concepcion Reyes de Wilches.
Welcome. Welcome.
Yes, and welcome Aileen and her husband and Shane.
Hello, my name is Shirley Bauer, and I'm here with my daughter, Lorraine Bortner. So it's been an interesting experience for me so far.
Okay, we have a few announcements this morning. Those of you who are going to be making announcements, please come up. Keep them moving. Okay, let's go. Okay. I'm timing you off.
Okay.
We have a hook if you go too long.
I am Ann Harrison. I'm chair of the membership and welcome team. And I want to announce that in 2 weeks from today, following services, we will have an orientation for people considering membership. We never pressure people. However, we would love to grow this congregation. We depend on our members to do the work that that's so important in our community. So 2 weeks from today, November 17th, after services, lunch will be served. You can see me or sign up on the sign-up table. Okay.
Thank you, Ed.
Hi, I'm John Van Camp, and I'm here on behalf of the Social Justice Team. And next Sunday, the 10th, after service, we're going to have a congregational session where we're going to look at what happened at the election, and that'll inform the Social Justice Team which way we're going. We need to be active regardless who wins. We know how important it is who wins, but we need to be active, and we're going to be guided by what you want us to do and by your involvement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next.
Hello, I'm Judith Parker. The board has purchased a couple defibrillators, and the Sarasota Memorial Hospital offers classes in how to use them. There is a sign-up sheet on the lanai. We would like to have 5 or 6 people who know how to use them. There is a class on November 21st. We have 1 slot for that, but we hope to have additional classes because I believe they're doing them every month. And we want to get people trained to use these things because I think it's, with an older congregation, I think it's a pretty smart thing to have. And I happen to personally know somebody that was sitting on a tennis court and slumped over, and if there hadn't been a defibrillator on that tennis court access, he wouldn't be around today. So it's an important thing to have.
Judith, will you come back, not now, but point out where the defibrillators are at a later date?
I don't know where they are, but
Well, at a later date, she will know.
all right.
We will all know. I don't. There it is, there we are.
Next Sunday, we will be wrapping up our collection of hygiene products for CHAPS. And as we know, CHAPS provides food and hygiene items without cost to people in need who are living with HIV/AIDS and their dependents. We do have lists on the lanai of the things to purchase, and if you'd prefer to write a check, make it out to UCOV and write CHAPS on the memo line. UCOV's fundraising auction will be on Friday, January 24th. We are just starting the process of seeking donations for that auction. So you will, primarily this is an auction of services, but some art and jewelry will be accepted too. There are forms on the lanai to fill out with your donation for the auction, and you should return those to me or to Mo Morrison. Community outreach is starting the process of selecting the 6 501c3 charities that UCOV will support via our monthly special collections over the next 2 fiscal years. If you want to nominate a local nonprofit to benefit from these collections, pick up a nomination form on the sign-up table on the lanai, and you can see me if you have any questions.
I'm Roxy Platt, sorry, and I do the Transitions Support Group. Some of you were involved in it last year. We're starting up this week, but we just learned that we're in conflict with the Arts and Crafts Group for the time. So, since I'm on that list too, obviously I've got to change the time. I put down 2:30 out there in the sign-up sheet, but we can also you can come at 3 after that group. It is a support group for any issue That's transitions-wise in your life. It can be anything. And we had some wonderful sessions last year. We do try to meet weekly, and our tentative this Friday is just to get people together and see what works and what doesn't for them. I can change that as long as Waters Hall is available. So I hope to see you there.
Thank you, Roxy.
I'm Cindy Bauman, and I facilitate the Death and Grief Support Group here. And we are changing, or I have chosen to change, the dates for November and December. We meet twice a month. We were meeting on the second and the fourth Wednesday, but that would mean we're going to give up Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. So we're going to meet on the first Wednesday, which is November 6th, this coming Wednesday. We meet in Waters Hall, then we'll meet on the 20th. And we'll do that the same in December at 1:30. And we can change back in January if people choose to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. We are now entering into a sacred space. So please silence all electronics you may have here with you today. Like this. We light our chalice. We light our chalice and we remember that we are sustained and upheld by the love of those who have gone before us. May we know deep in our bones that love does not disappear.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm so glad that you are here today. We're here to celebrate our beloved dead, all of those wonderful people who have gone before us into mystery. This is the time of year when seasons are changing and the light is getting a little less. When people from all around the world have felt that the separation between the living and the dead was at its thinnest. Now, Day of the Dead is not Halloween. I cannot stress that enough. It's not frightening. It's not designed to scare away evil spirits. Day of the Dead is about setting up a space where you can call your own beloved dead home, where you can set up a Day of the Dead altar and ofrenda, and you can put things on it that form a light in the darkness, a beacon to welcome your people back and let them know that you knew the things they loved and that you're willing to share their stories. So come and let us worship here together when the living and the dead are welcome and your memories and your stories are honored. Now we're going to be brave today because I'm feeling a little nuts. We're going to try a round. We're going to do number 389, Gathered Here. We're going to sing it all together the first time through just to make sure we remember the tone and the words. And then I'm going to split us side by side. This side will start us out, and then you all will get going. And we're going to go till I tell you to stop. So sing well or else. All right, please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our opening hymn, number 389, Gathered Here. Here we go. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit drawn near. Okay, this side. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour. This side start. Gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit drawn near. One more time. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draws near. Spirit draws near. All right, we did it. Now, as always, our offering words are offered with levity because giving should not hurt. Paul and David had been friends forever, and they were rabid baseball fans. And they had made a pact that when the first one died, he would come back and tell the other one if there was baseball in heaven. So Paul died in October, and Dave thinks, well, it's probably all hooey, but just in case Paul might come back, he puts a picture of Paul and a beer and a ballpark hot dog on his Day of the Dead altar. And the next day, Dave sits down by the altar and he's shocked to suddenly see Paul sitting behind him, sipping the beer and eating the hot dog. And he says, oh my gosh, Paul, I missed you. And our pact, tell me, is there baseball in heaven? And Paul said, well, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is, yes, there is baseball in heaven. You get to play baseball with Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig and Mickey Mantle. Well, what's the bad news, Dave says. Well, said Paul, scratching his head, the bad news is you're pitching next Wednesday. Please don't wait till it's too late. Give generously now. The morning's offering will now be given and received. Thank you all so much for these gifts and for everything you do for the life and the work of this community on a regular basis. We're going to work on the ofrenda now together. And I'd like you to take a moment to think of those whose names and spirits are closest to your hearts, the family, friends, ancestors who've gone ahead into mystery. And I want to call your attention to something that people forget we have. This is our memorial book for our honored and beloved dead over here. It has names and stories. Marilyn Amick does a gorgeous job of doing the calligraphy. That is our ongoing memorial. Take your time and go through it at some point. It is marvelous. Now, in a minute, I'm going to ask and offer people to come forward. If you haven't put your things on the altar yet, this is your time to do it. What I ask when I call your section forward, if you want to come up and choose one of the little candles that's on the table. They're battery operated so we don't set the joint on fire. Turn it over and flick the battery and turn it on. Steve will have a microphone up front. Take the mic and speak just the name of those who you are holding in memory. And then go on back to your seat. And I'll call you up by sections. If you don't want to come up, that's fine. When we're done with everybody coming up, I'll ask if there's anyone that didn't come up that wants to say a name, and someone will bring you a microphone. So don't feel that you have to come up if that is uncomfortable. So is everybody clear on that? Clear as mud, right? All right, I think I'll make it easy. I'm going to start with our glorious choir. So if you have things to put on the altar, you can bring them now, or if you just like to light a candle and say a name, come on up and do that. So if this section wants to come up. Yeah, this whole section all the way back to the wall. Just come on up, light a candle, and grab the mic. Steve will be at the end of there.
Barbara and Marlon.
Arthur and Evelyn Minaldi. Albert and Edith Dinas.
And put your candles on the table when you're done. We want to light it all up.
Duke Wellington.
Grandma Anna Bauer.
Jack and Thelma Heller, Barbara Heller, Raphael Laboff.
Crystal Peterson, Tom Peterson, and Elizabeth Peterson.
Ronald Hahn.
Elaine Collier.
Mary Jane Dickerson.
And if this section, anyone who wants to come forward from this section, come on forward. And you can go to either side of the altar. It doesn't matter where you put your stuff.
Becky and Bill Furnish, Jean Furnish, Betty Barger, and Peter Coleman.
My mother-in-law, Mary Massaro Gorgoni, and my dear grandmother, Malin Ramos Ramirez.
David Jewett, Donald and Helen Dupuy.
Grandma Serena LaBarbara, and Michael and Carmela LaBarbara.
Lawrence and Dorothy Van Camp.
Grace and Esther Canarelli.
Thomas and Eileen Boyce.
Mom and Dad, Bill and Leona Bauman.
Cheryl Dottie and Larry Ennis and Jim Drogosh.
Jed and Doris Junkermeyer.
Jeff Whitus and Nancy Reynolds.
My brother, Andy Nelson.
Charlotte Nagel and Lori Barabo.
And then if this side could come on up, and these rows here, anybody that wants to come up, come on up.
José Antonio y Juan de Dios Wilches Barraza.
My sister, Margarita Reyes.
My grandparents, Tomasa Reyes, Julio Reyes, Isabel Coronado, and Erasmo Conde.
Jean Daly, Wilfred and Margaretta Manns, Jim Bryden.
The beautiful Beverly Scanlon.
Frederick Bauer.
Art Mills.
Odette King Houston, my late husband.
Dale German and Harriet and Jim Curry.
My parents, Bill and Ruth Stahl, and my nephew, Chris Stolz.
Mabel and Francis Scanlon, Billy Klesses.
And anyone on this side who'd like to come up, come on up.
Elaine Carlson.
Jeanette Arnis.
My father, Delbert Charles Gundy. Richard Kerner.
Ralph and Margaret Head, known as Nani and Chicken, and my brother David, Krista, and Jeremy.
Steve, would you light a candle for me so I don't have to come down? Tracy Ann Evans, Terry Glenamore Ham, Dorothy Thoman, Harry Thoman. Is there anyone in the seats that would like to, okay, can we take a mic back to the folks in the back there? Oh, if the back row would like to come up, anybody that wants to come up, come on up.
Do you want to come up?
my parents, Jerry and Harriet Blucka, and my stepson, Brandon Blaschek.
Albion Davis, Melvin Taylor, and Bill Monaco.
My parents, Thelma and Charlie Zurich, my brother, Craig Zurich.
Dad, Dolph Muller.
I'd like to add one to my own. My stepmom, Shirley Bauer. You're not going to believe that there is a Shirley Bauer here this morning. Exactly the same spelling.
Walter Platt.
Kyle Witherite.
Tom Danbury.
You had one on this side over here in the green.
John J., John E., and Johnny Miller and Jane Miller, Robert and Virginia Murray, and Paul Murray.
Anyone else?
We got one more over here.
Okay. We need 8 candles lit for the people who just spoke. Thank you so much.
The 4 Obermiller sisters, Blanche Obermiller Nicholson, Margaret Obermiller Titus, Bernadine Obermiller Gearing, and Rosalie Obermiller Hughes.
All right, one more up front here.
John and Mariana Muntz.
Steve, did you have anybody?
Yes. Celestine and Moses Wheel, Eliza and Baruch Schlesinger Wheel.
These are our beloved dead. May those names spoken and unspoken remain in your hearts and your minds, and may you share their lives and their stories and feed their ghosts in love and warmth and joy. Now, in the interest of time, unless someone has something very quick, I am going to jump joys and concerns today. If anyone has a very rapid joy or concern, Pam Palmer in the back.
I just want to let everyone know that Grace Grote, born December 12th, 1920, fell yesterday and damaged her skin on her leg. She's fine. She's back in her own little apartment, but don't call her. She does not have a good relationship with the telephone, but cards would be gratefully accepted. And in another month, hopefully, we're going to celebrate that 104th birthday.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Liz Kramer. I'm here from Connecticut. We're moving, so today's my last day here, and I wanted to thank all of you for opening your hearts in this church. If I didn't have this space, I wouldn't have made it here in Florida. So we'll be going, Phil and I will be going back. We're moving the 16th, and we have an All Souls church, Unitarian church in New London, Connecticut. So I will miss you all, and thank you so much for opening your hearts to me.
Thank you. Safe travels. Good to have you.
I am welcoming a new great-grandson born within the last hour.
Yay! All right, any other quick joys or concerns?
Just mine. I want to thank everybody for your concern as I went to Orlando Health this past week. So thank you for your love. I appreciate it.
May the light and love of our community hold all those who need our concern, and may those who are filled with joy and laughter be abundant.
My Father's Things, a poem by Ken Nye. My dad died 28 years ago. I still have some of his things. A red plaid Pendleton bathrobe. I look like Dad in that thing now. An old Sears table saw, bought and used in 1950. I still use it, but for rough cuts only. An old grinding wheel, noisy as sin, but sharpens mower blades in no time. Trays and trays of screws and nuts sorted in biscuit pans by size. You just stir and search. His gold watch, given to him in '57, it hasn't worked for years. It's going to cost too much to fix it, so I keep it in my drawer. I had his pocket knife, but lost it. I always lose my pocket knife. There are other things of his I have as well. I have his feet. I swear my feet look just like his. I have his eyes, big and brown. I have his gait, knees kicking out like bow-legged cowboys. When I walk in front of store windows, it's my dad. I have some other things of his too. A love of animals, especially dogs, one of God's greatest inventions. His value system and code of conduct, the do's and don'ts of being a man. Some might say bathrobes and saws and codes of conduct are not exactly jewels to take to the bank. I answer, jewels don't shine as brightly as my father's things.
For each child that's born, the universe rises to sing to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, the morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
They Are With Us Still by Kathleen McTeague. It is right to remember the names of those who gave us strength in this choice of living. It is right to name the power of hard lives lived well. We share a history with those lives. We belong to the same motion. They are with us still. The lives they lived hold us steady. Their words remind us and call us back to ourselves. Their courage and love evoke our own. We, the living, carry them with us. We are their voices, their hands, and their hearts. We take them with us, and with them choose the deeper path of living. Please join me in 1 minute of silent thought, meditation, or prayer. Dia de los Muertos, a reflection by Marcela Quintanilla Dieck. When I first came to the U.S., I remember struggling to explain what Day of the Dead was to a couple of my friends. From an outsider's perspective, this holiday seems dark, scary, and even cold. It didn't matter how it worded, it would seem that it was a celebration of the dead. For a while, I was embarrassed to say it was my favorite holiday. As I got older, I realized how none of its symbolism is close to dark. For us Mexicans, the Day of the Dead is a day to commemorate our loved ones with their favorite food, music, art, and even poems. It is a tradition that brings us together and celebrates the souls of those who are no longer here with us. This holiday, I believe, represents one of the most beautiful and artistic ways to express love and what someone means to you, even when they are not physically close. I realized, contrary to what people assume, this holiday is a celebration of life. Day of the Dead pays honor to our loved ones who have left us too soon or perhaps unexpectedly. On this November 1st and November 2nd, remind yourself that your loved ones might have left physically, but their love is intact in every heartbeat, in every breath, and in every gaze you take.
This song I found at the Gala Festival, which met for the first time after 8 years, having skipped a session due to COVID. So it's a very poignant song about gathering together. And we're going to sing the first verse. There are 3 verses, then we're going to repeat the first verse, and then I'm going to turn around and indicate that you can sing, because I know you'll know the melody by then, and the words will be on the screen at that time. On the Day We Are Together Again by Humbird.
For
It's always fascinated me that Day of the Dead and Halloween came out of approximately the same time period. Halloween is what you get when you take a Celtic harvest festival and cross it with the Roman Catholic Church. And the Day of the Dead is what you get when you cross an Aztec harvest festival with the Roman Catholic Church. And the differences are amazing. Where Halloween is based on being afraid. National Geographic Kids says Day of the Dead is a family reunion, except the dead ancestors are the guests of honor. I just love that idea. The Day of the Dead is warm. It's about being there with the spirits of your family and your friends. Now, we're Unitarian Universalists. Some of us don't believe in spirits or ghosts or angels, or that's fine. We're talking about bringing them back into living memory. You know, up until the 1950s, death was very much a part of life. For some of you who were around then, you might remember it was quite different. Even earlier, back in the 1400s in Europe, there was an image you saw all over the place. It was called the Danse Macabre. And some of you know what I'm talking about. It's a row of dancing skeletons, sometimes holding hands. And Walt Disney even picked up on this. He did the spooky, scary skeleton dance, the row of little skeletons dancing. He did that in 1929. Life is short. We all are heading to the same place, so why not dance as you go? That was the idea. Because death was just a part of life. You were born at home, and often you died there. And you weren't just carted off into this great, clean, sterile world of hospitals and funeral homes. The women bathed your body. The men built your coffin. You were still a part of the family, even though you were not up and talking. Death was natural. And Day of the Dead is about that natural idea that the dead are still a part of our lives. We do it at this time of the year because for a lot of cultures, this is the halfway point. This is the point where it's not summer, not winter. It's the perfect time for the dead and the living to talk together. We don't do a good job of talking about this now. There are some things that get the idea. When I was writing the sermon, I heard a country song that I had not heard before by Lee Brice. It's got the idea. It's called I Drive Your Truck. And the words are great. 89 cents in the ashtray, a half-empty bottle of Gatorade rolling on the floor, that dirty Braves cap on the dash, dog tags hanging from the rear view, an old Skull can and cowboy boots and a Go Army shirt folded in the back. This thing burns gas like crazy, but it's all right. People got their ways of coping and I got mine. I drive your truck. I roll every window down and I burn up every back road. I drive your truck. How do we keep the dead alive? The foods they ate, the clothes they wore, the truck they loved, even something as silly as a Skull can or my sister's cigarettes. They call our people back into living memory, and the Day of the Dead creates a space for an actual danse macabre where you are dancing with your dead. You are reaching out your hands for the ones who came before you and stretching your hand forward for the ones who come ahead. Now, I don't know about you, but when my family gets together for a party, we make Grandpa's favorite casserole, and we tell the stories about what it was like when he was here. Oh, do you remember the time he fell off his chair because he was trying to get up so quick to get a bowl? Your children may never, ever meet your great-grandfather. But if every Thanksgiving you tell the story of how the day of his wedding he was chased by the pig and he ripped his pants, eventually your children and your grandchildren will be able to tell the story of his long legs running and his big booming laugh as he went and got married holding his pants closed behind him. If you make Grandma's menudo, or the cookies she used to make at Christmas, and you don't just put them on a table and say, oh yeah, there's the cookies. You tell the kids about, yeah, I was always amazed at Grandma's hands. She always took the time to put on the red nail polish for the holidays. She worked so hard the rest of the time. She was a nurse, you know. You tell the stories. One of the most important ways we have to be with our family is to keep their stories alive in living memory. And somebody asked me one time, well, what about my story? Your story matters too. One of the most important things is that you go on also. So who are you telling your stories to now? What are you sharing with your grandchildren and your children so that 15 years from now or 20 years from now, do they know the story about the chair you tripped over? Do they know the silly story about what happened on your honeymoon or that dumb thing you did? Do they know the funny and the sad and the poignant? Do they know you? Because 50 years from now, it will be our candles here. Who will tell your stories, and have you made sure that they know them? Are you dancing with your ancestors and with those who will come after you? Are you doing that work? Recognize your part in the dance. Look at the hands you hold. Look at the hands coming up ahead of you. Suspend your sophistication and your disbelief just for one day of the year. Let the doors swing open between the living and the dead, and return to the world of the living, ready to keep dancing. Because through us on this day, the dead live, and they are absolutely beautiful. Welcome your dead, turn on the music, and dance. Amen. We extinguish this chalice, and we remember that lighting a flame is something like the beginning of life. If that is true, then perhaps extinguishing a flame is like the ending of life, but death may not be the end of us. We live on in the memories of friends and loved ones. The inheritance and influence we possessed in life works on, moving persons or causes forward. Let us not forget that most candles have more than one life, and so perhaps have we. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our closing hymn this week, number 1000, Morning Has Come.
Let's with joy and sing a song.
You are your grandparents' prayers, and you are your parents' dreams. You are the bones of your ancestors, and you are the vision of God. Go into the world rejoicing for all that you are and all that you will be. Peace, Ashe, and may it be so.